Alright everyone, it's time to talk about the death of Pepe. Oh no, the creator, Matt Furie, has killed off his beloved cartoon frog to try to stop the evil alt-right from spreading Pepe around. This won't work for so many reasons, it's almost mind-boggling. Matt Furie, when Pepe sort of, evolved from original Pepe form to Sad Frog, and then Smug Frog, and then becomes just Pepe with everything associated with it, rare Pepes and Keck and all this stuff. He was like nowhere to be seen. I bet that the average person in the United States knows what Pepe is, as Smug Frog or any of its derivatives. But the average person who's aware of that doesn't know who Matt Furie is. They don't know who the creator of the original frog that was taken off from is. In a way, if you're spreading like Pepe stuff around, you're not even really plagiarizing his work. It doesn't even that closely resemble the original, other than it happens to have the name Pepe associated with it. So, my advice to people who are into the more secular side of the propaganda, what would you be worried about? He's just re-injected this frog back into public consciousness again, which might be by design. Maybe he's just doing this to get a little bit of extra attention for his comics or something, get his name associated directly with the phenomena that, rocked the world for a year and a half straight. That's always a possibility. From the secular side, it's not going to stop, people from spreading around Hitler Pepe, Stalin Pepe, Hillary Pepe, Trump Pepe, Le Pen Pepe, Macron Pepe. Any sort of Pepe. I mean, it's come to represent basically anything you happen to want it to represent because it's so irreducible in form. Because it can express a wide variety of emotions and concepts and be overlapped and adapted so easily with other things, it's become a mimetic juggernaut. In strictly the secular sense. We're not talking about the mystic side or anything right now. And then in that mystic side, Keck is totally separate. It's a literal ancient Egyptian deity. It just happens to be. People sort of dug this out around the time that the other meme was circulating anyway, so they just overlap the two. But Matt Furie saying, oh, well, haha, I can kill Pepe off in my comic and therefore all this goes away, or it robs it of some sort of symbolic or occult meaning. That's not the way that things work. That's like saying that one person develops something and it flops. Nobody knows what it is, nobody knows about it, nobody cares, it was never marketed properly, it was never branded properly, and it's substandard and inefficient. They develop some sort of innovation that just doesn't quite make the cut and never becomes popularized. Somebody else, totally unconnected with them, takes a look at their basic design, makes vast improvements derived from it, completely overhauls it, markets it properly, brands it properly. It's totally different from the original, and it takes off and goes viral, and everybody wants it, and it becomes as common as fucking a refrigerator or something. And then that original person smashes their own invention in a blind rage and says, oh, well, you can't do this, oh, you've ruined my original design or something. It doesn't make any sense. If yours failed and wasn't popularized because it was not efficient enough, it was not marketed properly, nobody even knows who you are, except maybe your local newspaper or something like that. I'm sure that Matt Furie had people in the general region, in his general neighborhood, coming by and saying, oh, well, aren't you the dude who designed the Hitler frog or something like that? And I feel slightly sorry for him, but he could have gotten out ahead of this at any time. He could have come out loud and proud and said, yeah, this is a derivative of my frog, and I'm happy about that fact. I'm not a Nazi, I don't like the Hitler Pepe stuff, but still my creation, and I'm glad to see it spread and promulgate itself across the world. He could have pulled a Ben Garrison. Ben Garrison originally, he's getting trolled by 4chan and everybody else under the sun. People are saying, oh, well, Ben Garrison's actually a raging Nazi. He's killed thousands of minorities, maybe millions. Who knows? He's got nuclear codes and everything else. And he's the ultimate genocidal character. And he makes Nazi cartoons, and then Zionists come along and turn them into anti-globalist cartoons to try to stop his Hitler propaganda or something. And at first he was kind of upset. And he wrote his book, and he sort of fights back against it as trolling and harassment and stuff. Over time, though, he realizes that doesn't work, number one. Matt Furie doesn't seem to have yet realized this. Number two, that fighting against it actually causes it to spread more, like an infection on your skin that you're itching constantly. And number 3, it's actually it's free publicity. Why would you look a gift horse in the mouth? No, just go with the flow and drop people a bone every once in a while and keep doing what you're doing, and people will respect you for that because you're not acting like a whiner. So Ben Garrison, he becomes more and more well known through this. He's quite a presence at this point. Matt Furie, nobody fucking knows who he is. His name was never even really associated with the derivative works. You can't, it's like Frankenstein or monster or something. He can't kill Pepe off because it's no longer his. Other people took the initiative to take the basic idea that was just Sad Frog. At first, it's the only real posting that was made. They altered it and made it viral. Matt Furie didn't. He's no longer in control of it. It's like you create some sort of seed line, and, you know, a few people are using it, and it's okay, and then somebody else takes it, completely overhauls the genetics, and they do a bunch of gene sequencing, and they do a bunch of, you know, artificial selection and stuff for, you know, 100 years or something, and then you complain that they created something better than what you created originally. How many of you know who the original creator of the original Pepe was? How many of you before this video knew his name? Matt Furie. How many of you knew that? Maybe 3, maybe 4 of you. How many of you have seen Pepe and can identify readily the basic concept? Probably thousands of you. Probably all of you, more or less. Well, there you go. There's the discrepancy. The creator is powerless to do anything about the creation because the creator lacks the power over the creation. A little bit of memetics there in an occult sense and a secular sense. So, I mean, no, Pepe's not dead. People are still going to spread the cartoon around. That's like saying, let's say that I were to perform some sort of weird ritual here on camera and say, oh, Spoon Clank is dead. All right, everyone is dead. That's about all. Peace out is dead. No, I refuse to let them be used anymore. What would happen? A bunch of people who assume that I'm actually upset by these things would just spread them around more. They'd become more popularized. I'd be seeing more like Styx, Spoon Clank stuff here and elsewhere. That's the way it works. My advice to Furie is to come out and a few days later and do like a Pepe resurrection and say, oh, haha, I don't even care anymore, and do like, you know, his own like political Pepes and stuff like that. And then he would be respected, he'd be more known, he'd certainly have more circulation, he would garner more wealth and fame. He's capable of doing that at any time. He's capable of latching on to the success of his own creation and molding himself to it simply by having been the original creator of sort of the original Pepe. But I mean, look at the cartoon. It's not even the same frog we're talking about. Coloration's different, style's different, meaning and intent are totally different. If he were to try to sue somebody for like unauthorized Pepe distribution or something, do you think he would even win? No, no, I don't think so. I think people would say, well, it might be a derivative work, but the association of the name to the original frog is tangential at best anyway, because the person making the derivatives isn't themselves doing the labeling. It's just other people happen to associate it with that name and that basic idea of the original cartoons. And he had another one there where the frog was like lying in bed and stuff and started hallucinating and falling apart. There's like a mushroom cloud and all sorts of weird shit. And that was kind of viral. But then people took one of the pains from that comic of older Pepe that looks a little bit Trump-like. And then they said, like, Grandpa, what did you do in the meme war and stuff like that? He's totally lost control of his creation. It's not like Garrison. Ben Garrison makes these sort of comics, gets hijacked by people who are totally inverting the meaning in many cases. And he just sort of goes with the flow and says, oh, yeah, that's really funny. And then meanwhile, he's getting more and more attention, and people want to talk to him. They really want to talk to him on their podcasts and everything, and he gets a chance to spread his work around and explain what's actually going on with good humor. That's the key. If you're getting trolled like that, the worst thing that you can possibly do is try to antagonize people, saying, oh, well, I'm killing off my own creation symbolically. Well, you can't. It's no longer really your creation that went viral in the first place. It's been so heavily altered, it's something totally different now. So yeah, resurrect Pepe, maybe. That would work if he wants to sort of reclaim ownership of his brand and have, like, you know, you could make he could make a killing if he just did like artistic prints of various political Pepes that he's designed. You know, here's the authorized Matt Furie Trump Pepe. Here's the authorized Matt Furie Merkel Pepe and stuff like that. It doesn't even, he wouldn't even have to frame it in the context of, well, I'm right-leaning. No, make them all flattering or all unflattering, or have different variants on both ends, or something like that. He can make millions of bucks. He doesn't even realize it, I don't think. I don't even think he realizes how much he could capitalize on this. I guess he's just upset because a handful of people that are actual Nazis are like, oh yeah, Heil Pepe, or something like that. It's remarkably dumb from a marketing standpoint alone. As far as a political standpoint, what has he accomplished here? He got the New York Times to mention his name in connection to Pepe, so that some soccer moms could feel sorry for him. And maybe he increases his cartoon circulation just a little bit, but he could capitalize so much more. If money is the object, I would love to give him an hour-long lecture on what he should actually do. He'd be a millionaire in no time. The writing's on the wall. It's so easy. It would be so easy to market this because of the viral success that was this frog image. But he didn't think to do that. He resisted the sort of change and deviation from the original in all of these derivative works. But I mean, he could lay claim to that and use this sort of new, you know, Pepe design, redraw it 1,000,000 times over and sell prints of it. Oh my God, he'd make so much money. As long as it's like properly tagged on an e-commerce site or something like that. He'd have to do some work. It'd take a little time. And then, of course, his artistic talent. But, you know, he'd make a killing. He could have every kind of Pepe merchandise under the sun. And he could be the original gangsta of viral memes. But he chose not to do that. He chose to say, oh, well, I'm disgraced by my own creation. I'm going to kill it off. Yeah, Matt, things don't work that way. Not on the internet, which is where this is, of course, being spread around. That's about all. Peace out.